iTiS Well of Worship Fellowship. iTiS stands for In Truth and in Spirit Well of Worship Fellowship. It's Thursday again. Thursday means we discuss the top stories of the week. Top stories from Uganda here, East Africa, Africa, Europe, and the world at large. Basically, what are those things that have been making the news in and around where we live? Of course, we are based in East Africa, meaning we do this from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. East African time. So if you have time, you can always join us. Our YouTube, our Zoom link is the same. It doesn't change. So if you have time on Thursdays, 6 to 8 p.m., please feel free to join us. We'll record this session and post it to our YouTube channel as well, just for posterity, really. And for those who are interested in following what we're saying here. Yes, on Monday, we also have another fellowship. That one we call Q&R, question and response session. We basically tackle questions from life, from religion, faith, social life, marriage, sex, you name it. We welcome everybody, the believers, the non-believers, the skeptics, the fence-sitters, the overly religious, the prophets. We welcome everybody, as long as you're willing to have a conversation, a decent conversation without shouting and heckling at each other. Everybody's welcome. So today is the 7th of November. That means the US voted a couple of days ago. And of course, there's no bigger news than that. The US elections and a certain Mr. Donald Jr. Trump this time won by a landslide. I mean, compared to the last time it was, facing off with Hillary. This time it was a landslide, even not just for the presidential, but even the Senate and many other positions. So there's no bigger news than that. But before that, we'll start at home here with Uganda. Of course, the biggest news from Uganda is the rationalization of the agencies of government. Rationalization basically means taking back to government what, if you want to use the word, what had been decentralized, basically in the early 90s, on the advice of these IMF and other agencies. First of all, they forced us to sell all our government companies and properties, saying government cannot do business. So there was a whole privatization wave. They sold off everything you can think about. And then all these years, and then after that, they said government is inefficient. You need to create semi-autonomous agencies which can get the work done. That is how we ended up with the UNRAs, the UNRAs, UCDA, which has been mainly in the news, and so many others, Uganda Road Fund, and so many others. So fast forward, government is now telling us, no, these agencies are actually wasteful. We brought them in at a time when government didn't have the capacity to do some of this work, but now we have the capacity. I've been seeing the letters written by the president justifying this. It almost seemed personal for him. Whoever opposed this idea was a traitor. He was working for the imperialists. Yeah, so anyway, here we are. And of course, because of that, yesterday there's been a big debate, of course, especially about coffee. And then yesterday was the big vote in Parliament, where they had to vote on whether to rationalize UCDA, that is the Uganda Coffee Development Authority, or leave it. Of course, as expected, people, if you've seen clips, some MPs were promising fire and blows. I think you've seen a certain Zake in a clip before he went to Parliament saying he's ready for war. And indeed, when he got there was a semblance of a war, if you like. Of course, the media was pushed out of Parliament. Live coverage was stopped. Security operatives stormed in, arrested some MPs. Zake was beaten in the scuffle, and I don't know who else was injured. But anyways, Parliament was suspended for a few minutes, twice actually. But eventually, when a semblance of normalcy returned, there was a vote taken. At least there were about at least 301 MPs, which is more than the 3/4 needed for this to count. And anyway, they carried the day. So here we are. I don't even know where to start with this topic. Besides, why is UCDA being, why has it been such a hot potato, if you like? as opposed to the UNRAs, and I think UNRA has done a good job in my opinion, and others. Why is UCDA such an emotive, if you like, emotive thing to touch?
I think there are a number of reasons. One is that the issue involves politicians, and sometimes politicians lead you to think that everything that they are doing is meant to cater for your interests, and yet they have a hidden agenda.
Right.
Yoweri Museveni is not trusted by many Ugandans. Even those who work closely with him, I think, don't trust him. But because working with him means they are putting food on the table for themselves and members of their families, they work with him anyway. But they don't trust him. So when he comes and says, we have something called the Uganda Coffee Development Authority, and we want it to move to the Ministry of Agriculture, and the reasons he is advancing don't seem to be compelling, then people become suspicious. For example, they are saying, the UCDA has been around since the early 90s. Farmers are saying it's doing a good job for them. It doesn't even have to be supported financially by the government. A gentleman called Ezra Suruma, whom, as you know, was Uganda's finance minister,
You're breaking. I don't know why.
and is a this plan of action is not very good. Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you. Please proceed.
Okay. So I was talking about Ezra Suruma, the former Minister of Finance and a coffee farmer. He wrote an article and it was against this move of moving the UCDA to the Ministry of Agriculture. He gave very good reasons, saying basically that the UCDA is doing what it should be doing. The president says if you take the UCDA to the Ministry of Agriculture, it is going to ensure that Uganda's coffee exports get value addition, which means that coffee farmers will be earning more from their produce than they are currently earning. But some people who are opposing that, they are saying the Minister of Agriculture, Ezra Sruma, also alluded to this. The Minister of Agriculture is not a well-organized government department. If it has issues to deal with, problems to deal with, and it is having a great deal of difficulty solving those problems, and now you are adding to those problems the management of the UCDA, then you are not solving problems, you are creating more problems. Now, as I conclude, all I say is that this has become very contentious. It has made some people angry. The main reason I think is because people don't trust those who are saying we should have the UCDA under the Ministry of Agriculture. If there was trust, in my humble opinion, we wouldn't have all these problems. People who in Uganda, some of them are alleging, I'm saying alleging because I don't have facts, that Baganda in the past election 2021 voted overwhelmingly for Bobby Wine, and Museveni now wants to kind of block their sources of incomes, to weaken them politically. I do not know how true that is, but it's quite possible that Yoweri Museveni can do such a thing. I think that's all I have to say for now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Msazi. Pedson, are you there? We are discussing UCDA and why it was such a hot topic. Of course, coffee, many Ugandans are coffee growers. It's been said there are about 12 million Ugandans involved in the value chain of coffee. Never mind that we export unprocessed coffee. But then the government is saying, we who created UCDA, why don't you trust us to also do this under the ministry? What are your thoughts on this UCDA?
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now, I will start from what Musazi has just said. The coffee farmer is not going to lose any money that he has been getting before. If you've been earning, let's say, 1 million from your coffee, whether you see UDC is a standalone, whether it's in Ministry of Agriculture, whether they bring back coffee marketing board, the coffee earner will continue earning that same money, because the previous arrangement, whereas you're earning 1 million from your coffee, the actual money that you'll be earning would have been more. But there have been people in the middle that have been eating on your margin. So whether there is the UCD, wherever it is situated, still your margins will be that, and people will be okay. And that's why you see the political fight is actually not relevant, which I'm going to discuss later, I think last. So the game about UDC is that these middlemen are trying to fight for that margin. It's not that they're trying to help the farmer. The farmer will continue getting his money that he was getting. But now that difference, that margin that was being taken over by some people wants to be taken over by other people. So on the thing of helping the wananchi, helping the economy, that's where the difference will be. We might not lose, or we might not gain as a country. But the people that were gaining, the people who are fighting, are the middlemen who want to gain. Yeah? So that is the first one. Then the thing about I'm going to talk about three. Now the second one is that the issue of UDC, because this rationalization has been there, but you come to know that this one is the one that has become a hot topic. So you wonder, how about other authorities? Why is it that they have not been hot topic yet? Other authorities like UNRA have even been running on bigger budgets compared to UDC. Now, the bigger budgets, I mean even the revenues, the money that is channeled through them, because you'd find UNRA is taking close to 20% of our national budget. So the issue about UDC, of course, how it started.
UCD, Pedson. UCDA.
UCDA, Coffee Development Authority. It was hijacked by politicians. That's where the biggest problem came in. And the politicians made it to seem to be like a very bad thing. When privatization came, the same people were fighting against Uganda Coffee Marketing Board. So the same thing, it was political, Coffee Marketing Board. And by the also to also go back, now if I'm to run back like to the 60s, at first the coffee has always been moving in monopolies. So at first, individual farmers were not allowed to export or trade their coffee. It was done by government and some Indian business people. Then came in cooperatives. Then cooperatives were given licenses to trade their coffee. Then Coffee Marketing Board finally takes over the monopoly of its marketing the coffee. But then I think cooperative unions were given licenses also to do the same. Now, when Coffee Marketing Board goes and then the Uganda Coffee Development Authority comes in 92, the same fights were there, this and this and this. But you see, the whole point is that the person who is planting the coffee is not benefiting as much as that person who is trading it. So the issue of benefiting the farmer has not yet been addressed up to now, because all the things that you've been seeing, I think the only thing that maybe was closer to addressing farmer issues were cooperative unions. So I want to say that this is just a political thing. There's someone who is very sharp who realized that if they can get monopoly over coffee here, then they will get more margins compared to if they leave this under UDC. So that is one. The fight is to get monopoly rights over exportation of coffee, and the factory they're putting up in Intungamo, to which they say they're going to process the coffee and then they'll be exporting processed coffee. We're yet to see how that turns out, but I think here the fight is on the bragging rights. Then the other thing is one of the other problems that we face, whereas we are second producer of coffee in Africa, our challenge is that we are poor coffee consumers domestically. Because why Ethiopia beats us is that Ethiopia consumes close to 80% of the coffee they produce. Now for us, we produce, but then we are exporting. So if we don't have the domestic market here, then you want to process and sell abroad. Now the question would be, how competitive is your processed coffee going to be against the coffee from
the global mafias of coffee?
Are you going to be, if Nelson produces coffee in Ntungamo, will it be competing against, will it be able to compete against the coffee from Italy, from Germany? So that's also another question. If you're drinking the coffee from here, then there it would make sense, like what Ethiopia does. But if you don't have a domestic market, then you want to produce coffee from Ntungamo and you expect it to compete on the global market. It may not actually make sense. Then
how does coffee leave Bugisu and then end up in Ntungamo? What distance is that? Was that the best place to actually put a processing plant?
I
Why not
think
put it in Bugisu or even here in Buganda?
I know now on that one, because that's also another debate. If you're to see, you find that if you to aggregate the areas that are producing coffee, Masaka, Bwea, Kasese, then you find that maybe Intungamo is not a bad place to choose where to put a factory. But me, I'm on the feasibility of you selling Intungamo coffee versus Nescafe on the shelves in the UK. That is where my question is, because I think these people like the Rugasiras tried it, African good coffee, but where did it end? So now you want to take over the monopoly of the whole coffee in this country. So we're yet to see how this is going to turn out. So this whole coffee thing was just a political thing, which I think that our opposition MPs did not handle very well. If the opposition MPs are actually fighting for the people, because there are now things that by now the politicians would be understanding. Things like negotiation. If you see that now the thing is going to be debated on, why don't you now enter into a negotiation tactic? Lose one, take one. But you see how they wanted to do it, and I think now it's done. It's done. It's done. It will be the same story how they took over the fishing industry here. You know, all the lakes right now are guarded by SFC. So you cannot fish Nile perch. The gallbladders belong to a certain group. So it's a done deal, and yeah. But the Muntwa ones, you will not lose anything. You continue getting your 1 million. If you've been getting, it will be there. Probably it might even increase maybe to 1.1. I'm done.
Okay, thanks, Pete. Isaiah, of course, after we take
Yes.
the umbrella, what quality of opposition did we expect to negotiate such things, if at all? If at all they're even negotiable. But anyway, what's your take on this whole coffee drama, if I may call it?
First of all, how is the driving permit section of this government? Is it effective and efficient?
Even better than what were those guys called?
First technologies.
It's technologies, yeah, it's better.
How is the
Yeah.
passport? How is the passport thing? Isn't it better?
It's a bit better than it used to be, yes. A bit better than it used to be. Those of
So
us who have
why
got passports for a long time.
are MPs fighting their ministries which are working actually? Because we are discussing what works, and we have testimony that we have seen desks in ministries that are working and serving Ugandans. Number one. The other point, Peterson has actually laid it very well, that the farmers won't be affected in any way. Rather, they will actually even be more empowered than they have been. Okay, so that's one. Two, coffee is not a Buganda issue. We need also to rectify that. Coffee is not a Buganda issue. It is a national issue. There is coffee in Mbale, there is coffee in the Western region, there is coffee all over Uganda. So this whole thing of Mwanyi ya Buganda is also another politics. And it should stop immediately in the well-thinking society. You think ayagala kwavuwaza Baganda, ayagala kwavuwaza Baganda, ayagala kwavuwaza Baganda. That should stop. Okay, so that is the political side of it. The only thing that we should ask President Museveni is that now that we are dealing with the authorities, when are we going to deal with the RDCs, the RCC, the presidential advisors, the 80 ministers? That's the question that we should be asking President Museveni, not UCDA. UCDA is should be a desk in the ministry or in that ministry. That is all. We shouldn't cause all this hullabaloo of Mwanyi. In Buganda, the Mwanyi that Katiklo has been giving to the Buganda people, he has been getting it from the ministry. To the Buganda, no. So these things are very important, Mr. Moderator, for Ugandans to understand. All we want to ask President Museveni, now that we decided to cut down these expenses, when are you going to cut down your expenses? Your budget also, shouldn't we look into it?
Where were you in 1981?
Now that is the problem now. That kind of arrogance and impunity is
But
the one that
it's
is
the
the same.
reality. It's the reality.
Yes, it is the reality. Good. Now, therefore, the citizens are also telling you that even when you are right, we don't want to recognize you that you are right. Because this time around, President Museveni is right. We decided, let us close these authorities. I come from an industry of milk. They closed down our authority. Did it make any news?
No, it
Yes,
didn't.
but we were also affected. We would also have made some noise like what? Now, this bill is against with the Bahima and the Banyarwanda, the cattle keepers. Why are you against us? But we didn't make that noise. but we are still selling our milk.
Isaiah, you are good citizens. You don't make noise.
Now, you see, that's the problem. So I think the kingdom of Buganda should distance itself from those who are presenting the coffee issue as a Buganda issue. It is wrong to use Buganda in this bill.
I think if I may be allowed to come in here very briefly, and I don't want to be misunderstood. I'm not supporting what those who are saying that the coffee thing is about Buganda. The issue is the largest coffee growing region in Uganda is Buganda. I think you have to bear that in mind. Yes, they grow coffee in Mbale, they grow coffee in Western Uganda, but if you are looking at the largest coffee growing region in Uganda, it's Buganda.
Okay, thank you for your information. We know that the best Ugandan coffee brand comes from Mbale. Largest, I don't know what by largest you mean, because we haven't gone into those
But
demographics.
Mbale grows Arabica coffee. If you look at the monthly reports of the UCDA, the latest is from September, the proportion contributed by Arabica is much, much smaller than the proportion contributed by Robusta coffee. That is another point of information, sir.
Okay, thank you. Now, I had already made that point. Where I come from, our cash product is milk. The authority was closed. We didn't make noise. Someone is using and taking advantage of that information that you are giving me to implicate Buganda. And they have presented this issue as a Buganda issue. That is wrong. I appreciate Honorable Abedi Bwanika, the way he presented the coffee issue in the meeting with the president. I wish all the so-called Baganda and Baganda leaders presented this issue in the way Abedi Bwanika presented it. Number one. Number two, we all know UCDA has nothing to do with the farmers. All that has been doing, and UCDA has not been done away. It has been transferred as a desk in the ministry. So whoever wants UCDA, we will find UCDA in the ministry. But this has turned out to be a political issue and a political ethnical issue.
Very true. Very true.
And this is the problem. Politicians are misleading all of us. Now, as we speak today, it has even now shifted from Uganda against Baganda. It has now come to the Baganda against fellow Baganda. The key leaders in Buganda are insulting each other. So really, politicians should stop using and taking advantage of every issue that comes that is useful to all nationals, and they start using it for their own political gain. It is wrong.
And Isaiah, you also need to understand the season we're in. So you have to be relevant around this time. So to them,
yes, isn't
then
that cheap?
Okay, now I understand, because you see that the point you're bringing, why is it that they did not fight? That's because the Dairy Development Authority is also looking at a particular product, like what Coffee Development Authority is looking at. Now, if an MP is really fighting for his people, how come the diary. No,
Yeah.
everyone was silent, was quiet.
Was silent.
Now on the coffee, because diary we also get some, we'll get a lot of money from milk.
A lot.
Eh,
And dairy was Western and Central. A very huge part of Buganda is dependent on dairy. So why didn't this Buganda also shout for this milk? Because it was from Buganda also. Sorry.
Isaiah, can I
Eh.
come in briefly? I mean, of course, we're in a political season and people want to use this as a political whatever step, but we should not forget the fears of the people who are fronting this tool. As I think Mr. Masai said, coffee is mainly grown here in Uganda. So if anything is to happen, you know, you are saying they have changed the desk from wherever it has been and it's now under, they're just changing a desk. But in terms of what UCDA has been doing and its role, in terms of regulating the quality and getting all these certification, these are all important for the international market. I mean, they have gone on, they have slashed, they have cut emwanyi in some areas where it was not of good quality. So they've been doing some work. Now, and the regulators who come and certify, they know UCDA. If you transfer that desk, it's not as easy as it sounds that the desk has been transferred and now it's under this. It takes a while so the regulators or the people who are looking at this, they are not going to look at UCDA as it was originally. Okay, they have to look at it under its new arm, and that may take a while. So it may affect the way the coffee has been the sale of coffee or whatever from its quality and all that. And so when you look at the ministry, you're saying it's under the Ministry of Agriculture. Yes, we have seen the Internal Affairs Ministry doing very well. As you've said, maybe on passport, maybe the guys who are dealing the ministry, which is under giving driving licenses. But when these individuals who know that majority of people in Buganda, if they look at the Ministry of Agriculture and they have cited so many examples, I've not heard anything good that has come out of the Ministry of Agriculture. So we are putting this desk under a department which is underperforming or even doing worse, because you've heard of the goats that were bought for 7 million and they died. Even they were bought from Ethiopia and they died. You've heard of other produce that they gave wrong seedlings and all that. I mean, just to cut my story short, is that the worry of the guys who are probably fronting this is that if we put this ministry, if we even if it's under the Ministry of Agriculture, but it's a new setup, are people going to have the same enthusiasm as they were as working under the authority?
Bob,
yeah.
The question here we're trying to bring, because the question that we're trying to bring is that a kilo of coffee is, I think, about 700 shillings, not so? Now,
whichever.
You go and buy a small tin of Nescafe from the supermarket at 30,000. So the farmer is going to continue getting the 700 shillings, regardless of whether UCDA is where, because that is what we're trying to say. These movies, the politics around this are not arguing to help the farmer. Even these politicians who are making noise, no one is even talking about a solution where a farmer is going to start getting the right money that the farmer is supposed to get. You will know that the middlemen are making much more money from what the farmer is actually getting. For example, Germany does not.
I agree. I agree with you, Pedson, completely. I agree with you, Pedson. The question is, this amount you're quoting, this amount you're quoting, okay, has been as a result of the quality of this coffee or whatever it is, of this mwanyi being elevated, right? If the quality of that mwanyi goes low, then the price will go low. Okay.
Now, Kakati, what we want you both to tell us, UCD has been here for 30 years. And the Baganda have been comfortable with the 700 they get from their coffee.
No, I don't want to go. I don't want to go 30 years back. We are now looking at what is there now. Whatever it is now, just as we were having issues with the getting permits, just as we were having issues with passports. Today, let's talk about what we have today. I don't want to know, okay, 30 years, today this is what is working. If something is working, why do you want to sabotage it and interrupt its process?
We're analyzing what it has been doing. Bob, we're analyzing what UCD has been doing.
Yeah,
it has been giving farmers a kilo of coffee, 700. Now we are talking about its efficiency. Because these people, these MPs who are fighting, they're not bringing these facts on the ground. For them, they're just fighting. Yes, this thing has been there for 30 years, but they have been cheating farmers when they have been looking. Now, what on top of the fighting, yes, if you want it back, what solutions are you bringing on board? Because you see this thing of fighting here, it's just a game of middlemen who want to cheat the farmers. Who wants to the fight is between that margin between the farmer and the actual consumer of coffee, because a farmer is selling coffee at 700 kilo. You as a final consumer, you're buying coffee at 30,000. There's a guy who is eating that difference of about 28,000.
Pedson, the whole thing that these guys do not understand, or actually do not want to understand, is in two things. Number one, what is it that UCDA has been doing that it will not be doing under the ministry?
Yes. Can I answer that question? The speaker, Enoch Muyanja, was saying, I think you didn't listen to him properly.
No, I did. He just tell us what it was doing. We don't have time, sirs. What was it doing that won't be doing? We listened. We did. Let's hear what you did.
Yeah. The whole thing is about efficiency.
And what do you mean by that?
What I mean is that the UCDA has been working well. And when I was starting my contribution, I referred you to an article that the former Minister of Finance and the coffee farmer, Ezra Suruma, wrote. He said, as a coffee farmer, he does interact with the UCDA on a regular basis and is comfortable with the way it is working. Ian Clark, another coffee farmer, was on NTV recently. He said the same thing. The authority has been working well. If you take it to the Ministry of Agriculture, as Enoch was saying, it's going to take a fair bit of time for it to work the way it has been working, because this is a new arrangement, and it's not going to be, when it comes to dealing with foreigners, it's not going to be viewed as it was previously. Okay. So there is a process you have to embark on to make sure that the UCDA works the way it has been working, and that some people have been saying could take maybe a couple of years. So for me,
I got your information.
Allow me to finish.
And you guys have consumed all my time. Because I asked you a very simple question.
I don't have more to say. What I'm saying is that don't just ignore the concerns of those who are saying maybe this is not okay.
You have muted yourself. Usaz.
Yes. I was saying that you should not dismiss the concerns. Okay, there are politicians who are into this because of political mileage that they want out of it, but there are also those who are raising concerns.
Okay,
Ezra, for example, Suruma saying that if it's been working well, why do you take it to the Ministry of Agriculture? We're not saving any.
it is okay now. Now, Musazi, if Ezra Suruma and Ian Clark, their problem is the process and how long it is going to take. How do they know that before they deal with the ministry or with UCDA in the ministry? Because they have not dealt with UCDA under the ministry. Have they? They haven't. So where is the confirmation that it is going to be very inconveniencing and it is going to be difficult like it hasn't been? There is no confirmation for that.
They are
Number one.
basing it
Number two.
on the
No,
inefficiency of
Msaz,
our
don't interrupt again.
ministries.
Don't interrupt again. We are wasting time. Secondly, we have already given you examples of authorities under ministries that are effective and efficient. Why is UCDA special? There is nothing. So Suruma thinks and Ian thinks. Therefore, we work on what they think and what they anticipate. The people who are dealing with milk, they had an authority. They are not complaining. Business is as usual. And milk is under ministry. How is coffee special? One, two, the point of Enoch Muyanja, the quality management. UCDA will continue doing its role. And what the international market needs, it needs quality. So the international market does not look at what UCDA did. No, it gauges and judges. It has quality control systems of itself, whether there is UCDA or not. The process is the same to sell abroad or to the international market. So really, this issue is just wasting our time. Both the opposition and the incumbent agreed that we do away with authorities. The president has started doing what himself in the government and those against him outside government agreed upon for the first time. Those in government and those in the opposition agreed that these authorities should be dismissed. The president has started dismissing those authorities. The opposition is in arms. Isn't this really embarrassing to see? Because we agree that we do away with authorities. Now, secondly, Bob, the guy even was lenient and said, let it be 3 years as we walk on. You made a lot of noise. Now he has actually even reversed that. Because you normally forget that decisions are made numerically, based on numerical strength, which he has. And now you are in parliament punching each other. This is an embarrassment by the opposition of Uganda. We can't even reason. Okay, the guy has guns, has what? But we can't even use our heads and our mouths to reason, at least. To reasonable people. All you want is populace. We fought, we are fighting for the people, we are fighting. Now, on this UCDA thing, there is no opposition MP or leader that is fighting for the people, because, as Peterson has put it, the farmer is going to lose nothing. Now, if we ask you politicians, what are you fighting for? What are you going to tell us? The moderator is away. I don't know what is next on the agenda.
Isaiah, time will tell. So, I mean, it's already done. So right now, our discussion may not even help, or it doesn't. But time will tell. Let's see if this will be maintained or things will go down the drain. And then maybe they will get back to the drawing board and then now decide to put it back to separate the authority. So I think even when MPs were agreeing, it's not like they agreed that let us put every authority together. They agreed, the thing was, let us rationalize where we have to. And so step by step. So it's fine. Let's see what happens. But what I know is, what I know is that, let me just finish this.
Yeah.
What I know is that it is always good not to interrupt something that is working. I can give you so many examples of
It
things
was
that I've seen
costly,
that.
Bob, all authorities were working, but all authorities were
No, no,
costly.
no, 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 Isaiah.
So like which authority wasn't working?
What I'm saying in terms
Yes.
of the economics, they really looked at the coffee, the UCDA or whatever, and how much money the industry was bringing in and how much money they were putting in the administration. And I think the coffee, the whatever, when it comes to coffee, it was a special case. But again, let's not go into that. It doesn't help. But let's see. Let's just see
Bob,
what happens next.
why do we make a decision that let's do away with authorities and then we have special cases? This is the embarrassment. We agreed, let's do away with authorities.
We need to look at how that was stated and the, because I think I heard one of the guys saying that it was not like it was an entire thing that let's revamp, let's close everything and put everything together. There was a move, let's rationalize
Okay,
where we have to. So I mean, I may not have the details that they said every authority should go.
Okay, fine. But the good news here is that in UCDA, the farmer has not lost a thing. So I don't know why they
for now, he has not lost. But
fine.
if the moving of this department is going to compromise on the quality,
then we'll come back to that.
Then So as I said, time now, let's wait and see.
Yeah. Now, who has his WhatsApp open so that he gives us next on agenda?
I think the agenda received had only 2 items on it. So
US elections.
Unless it has changed. Yeah.
US elections. Bob, take us through what happened in your country. First of all, you lost.
So which is, and I concede. I conceded as any good law-abiding person should do. I have not protested. I have not sent people on streets to protest your win. I have conceded, and I've congratulated you. So that's fine. So I think, I don't know what you want me to say, but US elected a new president. He will go in office on 20th January. He won with an overwhelming majority, both in terms of numeric numbers of votes, but also taking the Senate, and the House is probably also going to be his. So Trump really did something that has not been done in a long time in the US. There's always these battle states, but he won in every one of them. I don't know if Arizona has been called yet as of now, but I think there were only 2 states which were left. Nevada, I think Nevada and Arizona. Nevada, I think they called it, but Arizona maybe they were still counting. But all what you call swing states, where they expect either a governor or one were all won by Trump. Slight margin, but a win is a win because you get to take all the electoral colleges there. Towards the end of, it's been a long campaign. We all know what happened. Biden was thrown out because he was not doing well. So Harris, in terms of the Democratic Party, Harris took over, had about 100 or so days to try and rally her candidature. And she did. She brought enthusiasm within the Democratic Party. The Republicans got a bit worried because of the momentum she brought. We all saw that. And towards the election day, there was really a good signs that the Democrats kind of had it, but it was still too close to call. On the real day, the results showed something different. It's very rare to have this US election determined on the night of closure of polls. But this was called on the night. So usually it takes 2 or 3 days to kind of come to the final call. But this was a really a big win for Trump. I mean, people are now really saying what really happened, what was, what, you know, what is going to happen next, or is this going to be the trend? Is it the end of the Democrats or what? I mean, trust me, the situation is a bit. You see the margins. It shows that the win was for Trump, but the country is kind of divided into two. Of course, not much as you show that the popular vote went to Trump, but when you look at the actual numbers, it's a 50-50 kind of split across the country. Yeah. So someone having 51%, another one 49% or 48%, that is really a 50-50 thing. And so many people are sad. Of course, they lost and they don't know what is going to happen given Trump's kind of character. For the first time, again, I should bring it out that for the first time, we have a convicted felony being elected into the office. It shows you a lot of things that have changed in the US, that people didn't look at character. They, as I've submitted on the other forum before, that the issue has been that the economy has really hit hard the people of the US. So to me personally, if I'm to evaluate this, and this is my submission, yeah, I've already given you the background now. So my submission is that this choice was made because people have been hit by the economy, by many people, and they were feeling it. So they thought they were better off during Trump's time, such that they overlooked Trump as being a convicted felon. In fact, he has counts where he's just waiting for a sentence to be read to him. You can imagine someone who is waiting to send to Kusalide, 5 years in prison or 2 years in prison, or someone who is waiting to be sentenced is now the president. So it is. So you can know why would people change, even having that in mind, still vote him in power. Okay. So the people, that poverty is really a bad thing. So I should say that's one of the major things. I think we have already stated it.
It is a sin.
Yeah. So people took this decision out of because their pockets were really blank, and they thought during Trump's time they had more money with them. The jobs were available, and now they think if they give him, this is going to come back. The other issue, so that really played a very, very big role in this, in swinging the vote. So the other thing was, of course, that came in was the issue of immigration. That many people have been coming in through the border for us, and this was, again, Trump used it as a way showing that, you see, people are coming in who are not documented, who are illegals, who are actually the bad people, are the one coming in. They are killing us. They are the ones who are taking drugs, who are coming in, and the current VP has done nothing to avert that. And so Americans are being killed. American jobs are being taken by these people who are coming in illegally. So, which, if you look at it, he has a point of, yes, there should be control at the border. No one disagrees with that. Probably the current administration really ignored taking serious action against making sure that the borders are not porous. But also Trump is to blame for that, and everyone knows, because they came up with a policy that was supposed to regulate that, and he rallied the guys in the Senate to vote against passing that bill, which could have seen the borders being more strict, doing background checks and all these things. So he did that such that he would be able to use it during this campaign, that he's the only one who can, take care of the border. Yeah, politics. Yeah. So these are all things. And then the issues that the people who are coming in, they are not taking, because Americans are not, they have not seen, in the time I've been here in Georgia, I've not seen any American cleaning someone's compound, cutting trees, or serving as a porter at a building. These are the jobs that are being taken by these people who come in through the porous borders. So they are not competing with Americans for jobs, literally, because whatever they are doing, the Americans don't want to do it. So in terms of, even if you locked them out, the current Americans who don't want to work, who don't want to do those jobs, will still be jobless. They will still be in the same situation. So for me, that is my take on this election. But we congratulate Trump. Let us see what he's gonna do in the next 4 years. He's promised to end the war. I mean, these people actually are not looking at the wars in Russia, in what is happening in Israel. A few percentage of people. Yeah, a few people are concerned, but it's not the majority who would say that could swing the vote. We voted him because of his promise to end the war in Israel, his promise to end the war in Russia. No, people were more concerned about domestic issues, about the economy.
It's their country, their business.
Yes, yes. So for me, that is my submission. So
Okay.
I'll wait for other people's submission.
Interesting. Now, it is also very important to look at the importance of building systems and having functional systems. Can you imagine a guy who has cases in court that are just waiting to be given a sentence, is in campaign running up and down? Imagine if that was in Uganda. He would be in jail. Or if he was in Kenya, or if he was in Tanzania, or in Nigeria, or in South Africa, those are the countries that I politically follow. So Trump would be already in jail, but the American election demonstrated that institutions are structured. Number one, number two, are established. Number three, they are independent of all the politics, etc. And now Trump has the power to pardon himself as a criminal, which works for us, the Trumpists, which works for us, the Trumpists. So
yeah, but he has himself, he can pardon himself on some counts, but on some he cannot. So again, that is the system. So whether we could even still see him like either when his presidency ends and he goes to jail, or even, I mean, I don't know, but there are some which he actually cannot pardon. There's a, like this, they put some safeguards. Are they called safeguards? Like the way you can say that the term limits that you cannot amend term limits. It's a safeguard. So there are some safeguards. So there are some counts where he was convicted that he cannot actually pardon himself, but he just has to wait for his punishment. But now he can use the courts to push his sentencing or whatever after his term. So he has the power to go through the courts and tell them and influence them to push the sentencing after his term. So that's the thing he can do, but he cannot like pardon himself. But there are some which he can pardon himself, but there are some he cannot. Yeah.
But you see, power is power. Eventually, by the end of this term, we shall even see on those embargoed cases, we see whether the presidency will not influence the decisions. Nicholas, you haven't said a word. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. Do you want to say anything from where we started to where we are?
The comment I had from where you started was not, I thought it was not very palatable, so I decided to hold it.
It depends on us, the audience.
Oh.
That is our call. Can we have it? And then you go to the United States.
Yes, I wanted to say that the devil comes only to steal, to kill, and destroy.
Okay.
And
even when he's giving flowers, he's planning to kill and steal.
Exactly.
Okay, I get the point.
Whatever he does. So I cannot support anything starting from NRM government, and it is fought for so seriously like that. You just know there is a clandestine mission behind it.
I understand.
At least that's because surely the MPs from Uganda had a right probably to fight, but why the other ones fight?
Yes.
If they want
why is the devil so good today?
Why would that be?
Okay.
Anyway, I could be wrong because I've been proved wrong many times. So even this one I could be wrong, but I didn't like that fighting, that forceful way of pushing things go through. Age limit was by force, term limits force, everything is done by force. SFC. I think that is a very bad precedence that has put our country in a very bad image. But also, I am not a fan of Zake. I mean, you cannot fight all the time. He was punched, and everybody is talking about the punching. But what I watched is he pushed the man who was seated. Where is decorum? I mean, decorum tells us that if I was seated somewhere and I move out, Then I
Can,
come
can
back
we,
and somebody
can we,
exactly
can we, can we, can we make that incident our social topic now that the moderator didn't give us a social topic? Can we make it our social topic? We save
Okay.
like 40 minutes.
Okay.
Take us to the US.
Yeah. In the US, personally, I'm happy. You see, many people say Trump is a racist, but I love the racist Trump. To me, racism affects people with inferiority complex, but not me.
Okay.
Yeah, because for me, I'm proud to be an African. I'm proud to be black. So
Yes.
how does that affect me? If I'm renting on your house and you're white and you say, I don't want you here, I will go somewhere else. Unless you tell me that without that house, there is no other.
But people like you are not the majority. Aren't you kind for the majority that are weak in mindset?
But it has taken too long to be
To grow.
there. Why should, in fact, right now, racism should not be the issue. The issue is homosexuality, abortion, those murders. Those are the issues. But racism, no. So for me, a racist Trump is better than a Democrat Kamala or Joe Biden. Yeah, that's what I can say.
Okay. Musazi. Is Musazi around? He has dropped off. Petson, are you there?
Yes, me just adding on what Isaac has said. I'm happy for Trump. Just on one, and this one I've said it before, the war in Europe and Middle East. I hope that he can do it. Jet was saying, does he have the powers? I don't know, but I think he can do something. He can stop it, because my fear is that when okay, you guys even understand the things way better than me. When Iran, when you see this thing of Iran and Israel, I'm just imagining if it escalates, then you have this boy in North Korea who is trigger happy. It can cause some serious disaster. So I'm just very, very hopeful, and hopeful that Trump is going to maybe bring some sanity. So that is one of the things I was really supporting Trump on this. I hope he can do something, because really we are at a verge of mess, and just one mad person like what Hitler did in the 1930s and 40s can bring turmoil again on this world. Then two is what Isaac was just saying. These things of the LGBTs, the what. So I think the Republicans don't really support these things. So maybe in these 4 years, and hopefully if the Republicans can come back, then it's going to see some fire. You know, before the Zake fight, the speaker, when they came back, the speaker said, you know, Trump has won. Now the things of sanctions, and now nothing. I don't know how true that is. The sanctions executive orders, or they still stand? That one I will need to be guided, because the speaker was very happy that since Biden is gone, now she will be going to America. So yeah, basically that. But the fear is, it seems that you know, when you look at Bush, sorry, not Bush, Bill Clinton, then now, okay, the people who used to stand with Bush, then Barack Obama. To me, it seems that now America is also stuck with such caliber of leaders for now. Because yeah, that's what I can say.
Yeah, Petson, to respond to your question, America is not stuck with such kind of leaders. No, it is stuck with such kind of voters. It is the voters that are bringing those the so-called Obamas and the Trumps. Did you hear what Bob told us about Trump? You could literally see that the voters have changed and so forth. Because when you look at the demographics of the youth that voted Biden in, and the youth that have voted this time round. And by the way, this time round, the youth that voted in Biden were more than the youth that have voted this time round. It looks like the youth this time were angry, and they just became indifferent, not to show up. And of course, their mindset and what they think, they like weird and interesting things. And that's why, as a supporter of Trump this time, I was worried. I thought this woman was going to beat us because she's a woman and she has all those bloods in one body. I was worried, but again, it looks like America is not yet ready for a woman to be their president. We shall continue waiting for the whites there to be civilized enough to let a woman lead. Now that they have taught us Africans that a man and a woman are equal, we really are waiting to see how they are prepared to let a woman be their president, which hasn't materialized yet. We have our long-standing members here who have just showed up. I would like to hear them say something. Hi. Ebi and Kato, you're welcome. Ebi, can you say hi? Are you well? Ebi, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm okay. I'm fine.
Okay,
How
it's
are
good
you?
to fine, good. It's good to have you back.
Were you supporting Biden or Harris International?
Maybe that's your question.
Pedson. I don't even follow politics. I don't like politics. I just hear about it. But
You
of
just
course, I would have voted for a fellow woman just for
for being a
But
woman.
you know, Eddie, what you've just said, I remember with around 2001, my mother told me that the only elections that matter is the chairman LC1 and the president of Uganda. The rest, don't really matter. And it somehow
And she was
makes
right. She was right.
but also one other thing I've come to realize that the geopolitics, the president of America matters so much in the affairs of Africa.
In the Chibaro.
Yes, in the affairs of Africa, we
Yes.
need to be concerned who becomes the president. The other countries you may not, but America, I think it matters. It has a very, very big impact on us.
Hey, well, one thing I also wanted to just comment on, sorry. I like the system here. Tebaina Electoral Commission. It is actually abannamawulire be bafulumya results. I was so impressed. It's
And
actually the
a federal
media.
system.
Yeah, the media, the TVs. I mean, like this is where, because buli state ebaleebyayo kati bo ne bakuŋŋaanya from ogondi ebivudde mu state bo ne ba-announcing. So I was like, oh, okay.
they don't have maybe what you would say is that they don't have that collective electoral commission, but every state has an electoral commission.
Yes, but what I'm saying, like the way we do our things in Mubuvugo, Buvudde Guru, Mubutwale, Kampala, Gundi announcing.
Uganda is not a federal state. Uganda is a republic. It's not a federal state. Kato, can you switch on your microphone and say hi? It's been long ever since you were here. Musazi, as you prepare to come off
good evening, everyone.
Yes.
I'm doing well. It's nice being here again. Sometimes
you've come back with your bad network.
Evenings be busy. That's why I don't sometimes join.
Okay, that's great. It's good to know that
you can't hear me.
No, we have heard you. We have heard you. We have heard you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Musaz, United States election.
Thank you. I have to say that the only interest I have in politics is because I'm a journalist, but I think if I wasn't a journalist, I would probably have zero interest in politics. which
Yes,
is a
here.
bad thing to say because
Mm.
Kizza Besigye said was speaking at the opening of the office of the National Unity Platform. And he said that whoever says that they don't have any interest in politics, that one is a fool. So I'm a big fool. Now, back to the elections in the US. I am very surprised. I was very surprised that the Americans, people living in a country that prides itself on being a well-established democracy, can elect a man like Donald Trump to be their president. It's not the first time they have done it. They did it in 2016. They tried in 2020 and Joe Biden defeated him. But this time he succeeded. Donald Trump should not be the president because of what he does, because of what he has done. I mean, the news media in this country have documented everything against him. And I think we really have to take this seriously because it's not made up. It's all based on direct, incontrovertible evidence. When they say he has a criminal record, that is not questionable. It's there. When they say he is a liar, that's not questionable. It is there. When they say he has no respect for women, that is also well documented. But they went ahead and voted for him and made him their president. Now, in politics, this is my personal view, and I'm not denigrating anything, especially for you believers, but I find that in politics, as in religion, truth is not really valued. It's in fact rarely valued because there is any number of things that Donald Trump can say, has said in the past that the media investigated and found they were lies. But the supporters of Donald Trump cannot say that they are withdrawing their support because he is lying. If you look at the Bible, there are things in the Bible that you know are not true. But people who are Christians, people who take the Bible seriously, they don't really reject the Bible because there are falsehoods, there are things that do not add up. So politics and religion, in some ways, go, I would say, like hand in glove. And I think that's why you have Donald Trump there. It's part of the reason. It's not the main reason, but it's part of the reason Donald Trump is the president of the people of America. The media tells them, this is what this guy has done. He shouldn't be your president. 13 newspapers endorsed presidential candidates. Only 3 endorsed Donald Trump. In 2016, Hillary got 50 plus endorsements, according to the Boston Globe. That gentleman got, I think, 3 or 4. You can look at the number Hillary got and compare 50 against 4. And all those endorsements are telling us one thing, that this is not the right man to lead you. Is not fit to be your leader. But the people go ahead and elect him. So those are my views about the elections.
So,
it's all
so
surprises.
you're concerned with the moral
Yep.
status of the president.
Exactly, because you know, if you said that we have a president here in Uganda with a criminal record, that is the person leading us. People in America, in other developed democracies, developed countries, they're going to say, but what would you expect? This that's how they do things in Africa. But now we are talking about the largest economy, a country with well-established democratic principles, values, and everything.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Msazi. Nicholas, should we take this this concern of Bob and Musazi of morality and leadership as a social talk, or we continue with the because we are remaining with the minutes of that social talk.
Yeah, Isaiah.
Mm.
I just wanted to say still one more thing. At Fengaba migrants, we also are in some form of dilemma. Of course, for us who are here legally, we don't. For now, there's nothing to worry about. But as we know that there are many migrants here from Uganda, from these other South American countries, who, because it looks like from this Chisanja, US is going to be like what is happening in the UK. And what is happens in the UK is that sometimes they can raid your home or a place, and then they start asking for identification, and because Trump wants to remove people who are here illegally, not only those that cross the border without visas or what, but if you are here and you came on a visa and it expired, then you are here illegally.
But isn't that the moral thing to do? Because that's the kind of discussion I was raising, and I wanted Mukwana and you to decide whether we go that way. Isn't that the moral thing to do besides the beneficiaries and the losers?
Of course. But again, that has its own implications. Even to the whole system, to the whole the way US is built up. I mean, Trump himself, the wife, was also would have fallen into such a category. You get what I'm saying?
Years ago.
Muchala we na ye yajja wano on a visit visa and all that, then inasigala. Okay, then eventually ne bamuwasa. So you have to think about these things so deeply, as you try to implement it. Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to bring it up to show that there's a lot of worry within the whole place, because knowing that the US is really, it has no indigenous typical people you could say that it is the United Mawanga Magat. You see more outsiders here than the actual people who stay here. So anyway, but they all contribute to the I mean, Elon Musk himself is a South African guy, but he came in, probably overstayed his visa, and then eventually got the papers. So it's a big thing to think through, but it's what it is. And as you said, it's the right thing to do. You cannot, if you're here, make sure that you're here legally. But
Elon Musk actually overstayed his student visa.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, that the person who is their richest guy around is actually a person who came through and stayed here in illegal ways. You get. So you have to look at this with the 360 degrees.
Okay, for the remaining minutes, maybe let us look at the question of Mukwana. Bano babuuza President gwe balonze nga ayina emisango, ayina moral authority gwe babanne nga nabo bazzi ba misango mu kubeerawo kwabwe mu Amerika. Ekyo kye tuba twogerako ndowooza. Number one. Number two, omuntu okubeera president omulungi kimwetaagisa okuba nga talina misango mirala. Omuntu asobola kubeera na misango mirala naye ate ng'asobola okubeera president omulungi. Tubyogereko ebyo kubanga wano waliwo omusajja bamuyitanga Sobi, yali mubbi era yennyini yewako n'obujulizi, abantu tubakwata obubadiya, naye bwe yafa muwala we n'agamba nti taata wange abadde taata mulungi era tabeeranko, sirabanko ku taata mulungi ng'ono, era nfiiriddwa nnyo, abadde atwagala, abadde atulabirira, nga tatukambuwalira naye ng'eno marketplace agamba abantu tubatuga. So bbi yali mubbi eno marketplace naye ate nga taata mulungi. Trump tasobola kubeera ng'anyooma abakazi emisango gyonna musaazi gy'abasomedde ng'akola ki n'emirala sentence Bob yatugambye zimulindiridde naye ate ng'eno president mulungi number 1 number 2 bwanga bamuloze nga muzzi wa misango yalina moral authority egoba banne abagwira naddala abazzi b'emisango mu Amerika. Do I make sense mukwana?
Yes, you do.
Yes. Tuyambeko mwemma mugenda okutongozaana agenda okukulembera ekkanisa. Mwe Bayibuli yamwegamba nti ate kubanga taliiko kyakunenyezebwa si bwe mugamba? Yes. Kakati gwe okubeera taata omulungi oteekwa okuba nga tolina nsobi oba osobola okubeera n'ensobi eri gy'okolera ku mulimu naye ng'eno oli taata omulungi. Moral authority.
Well, first of all, Chair, it is unfortunate nti tusazeewo tufokasinge ku America etali waffe tuleke waffe awali ebyokya.
Tujja kujja ku Mande waffe kubanga obudde butono.
Naye kale ng'abakulu bakyagadde. First of all, awo njagala kubuuza ekibuuzo. Gwe Omunayuganda olina moral authority equestioninga Omumerika eyazimba ensi ye n'alondebwa Abamerica. Naye waba bati nze one of the things I like Trump is kutubuulira mazima. Abaddugavu muzimba ensi yammwe. Naye bali bazimba ensi yaabwe bagyeyagaliramu kati mugendayo mugyonoona bw'abagambako mbu is a racist mbwanyooma abakyala mbwakola biki. Trump talina musango ebyo byonna those are just trumpeted kind of issues ku bulamu bwe. Nze njagala omusajja oyo nnyo kubanga njagala Africa, njagala abantu. Laba wano abantu bafe abanene bonna bwe balwala balina ogenda e Germany, watagenda Germany alina ogenda Bungereza mu America. Tetusobola kwekolako kabavume kabajerege. We need to build ourselves. We need to reach that level because we can. So Trump mumuleke, he loves his country, he loves his people. Well, America, buli omwana otegera culture ye. Abayudaaya, if you remember, Abayudaaya they don't even recognize women. Ukimanyi in Bible etugamba nti Jesus fed 5,000 men minus women and children. Kubanga abo tebabalabala, tebanaba kubeera bantu. That is their culture. So Abamerica nabo value yaabwe y'abakyala bwetyo bweri. Mubaleke ffe abategedde value y'abakyala wano tuzimbe tuteekewo ekintu ekiraga nti tuli ba muwendo. Naye Omunayuganda talina moral authority equestioninga Trump. You cannot question Trump. Omusajja omugagga azimbye ensi ye, yezimbye financially, teyasoma nnyo, naye abantu 50% of the Americans believe in him. Kati nze nomukwana mbeere eno nti Trump anyooma abakyala, Trump alina emisango.
Bakugambye mbu nabo bamugasa mbu mu nsi yaabwe balina ebintu gye batasobola kukola, mbu nabo bamugasa balina right. Kyebagambye ssebo.
It is fine. Naye keep in your lane. Abasoga bagamba nti awatali wa wokina matyama.
Wokina matyama.
Awatali wawo. Ate tovaayo n'authority yonna. Waliwo omuvubuka mukwano gwange yali avuma Trump ku Facebook. Naye ng'afiira wano Tororo yava wano mwavu mu buzibu. Atuuse mu America afunye esente alivuma Trump. Ngamba tegera gy'ova, know your lane. Nze banaye Trump mumuleke. Nkomyawo.
Sebo Trump otwamulesedde.
Can I respond to, sorry?
No, don't respond, Musazi, don't. Nancha. Brenda, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay. Okay. What do you say about that? abantu mwandibadde mugane mutawaanya bannannyini nsi oba okudda ku kye twagambye moral authority. Trump alina moral authority yonna egoba abagwira ng'ate Amerika yonna buli ne bwe bayita Amerika bonna bajja buzzi. Lwaki ensi ekolebwa abantu abajja obuzzi nga bannansangwa baggwawo ba Red Indians, lwaki egoba abajja obuzzi?
Ideally tebalina talina nakukirowoozaako ekyokutugoba, naye ate naffe kati for instance nange ndi waneno mu Buganda bagenze ne bayogera luli eri nti baagala abayindi basaba baweebwe okubeera like part of the tribes of Uganda. Nempulira nga
wayomba nnyo nakuwulira, wayombera ddala.
Nengamba where do they even get the audacity to have such thoughts, you get? Naye ng'ate naffe Buganda twagijjamu buzzi ne tugiwamba. Oba okitegeera kaakati ne tulya n'amataka gaffe bajjajjaffe ge baalwanira oba bakubye Banyolo oba bakubye baki oba bakubye Basoga ne bagawamba. Kati bwe ndaba Abazungu nti baakola maapu n'ettaka yaffe erimu ne baliwa Kenya ne baliwa DRC, ate abalala moreover ne be bajjajjaffe be baakuba nabo nga bagamba baagala batwala ettaka lyabwe. Mpulira nga where do they get the audacity? Tegeera. So Trump alina eddembe okuwulira engeri nga gy'awulira ku bagwira, newankubadde nga moral authority eyo yandibadde tagirina, naye nga nange bwe neefuula nti njirina eno ndowooza nti naye yandibadde afiiringa naye alina moral authority eyo. Oba okitegeera. Although Trump abeera nga alina audacity eyogera ku nsi zaffe shithole countries biki. We also have the moral authority to meddle into their affairs, since he has also meddled in our own affairs, and since their policies they affect us also in a way, since we are still their slaves, you know.
Ensonga ki mubalemerako?
Tulina okubalemerako kubanga they meddle in our business as well. They want to, after all, they are saying it's a global village. So olugambo lulina otambula, tulina badiscussingako. We have the moral authority to trump them.
Zoom user, do you understand Luganda or English? Owulira Luganda oba Oluzungu? Zoom user. We have someone here by the name Zoom user. Can you say something, please? Okay. Bob, yagala kujja. No. Musaz, you come in with your views.
I just want to respond to what Nicholas was saying, because I think he mixed up issues. When we say that Trump, I don't live in the United States, the other gentleman does, but if we say a political leader must have integrity, or anybody aspiring to be a political leader must have integrity, that is as sensible as it can be. And it's very clear. So if we talk about Trump not having the morality that he should have as a leader, we are right. We really don't have to be Americans. We are talking about a problem that the leader of the United States has. It really does not matter that he is very rich, because the way Nicholas is arguing is like, I mean, you are on the road driving badly, you drive a very expensive car, and when you start hitting cars around, knocking cars, and people blame you. You jump out of the car and you say, but how can you talk about me when I am driving a very expensive car? That's the way, that's how I look at it. Trump
No,
is,
Nicholas was saying that when you are in that car, in that very car, and the car is not yours, and then you are making noise about how the driver is driving, yet the car is not yours.
yeah, but the results, he also talked about Trump being very rich, and because he's very rich, people should not should not point out his weaknesses, things he has not done right, and I disagree with that.
Okay, okay. Nicholas,
Yeah.
Nicholas, Bob,
So-
Bob, let Nicholas first defend himself before you come in. Then you come after Nicholas, Bob.
I was also
Yeah.
responding to him, but it's fine.
Okay. You will go to Nicholas's response. Yes,
Yeah,
Nicholas.
I think I agree with him. I agree with him the way he has perceived it. But I think my concern was not the way he has perceived it. My concern is that people from all over the world want to go to America and tell the Americans how to govern themselves. And yet, where they are coming from, they are struggling. It's more like what Jesus said, that you tell your brother to help him remove a speck in his eyes, but when you have a log in yours, there is nobody who is perfect. In fact, this business of pointing out people's errors is erratic because all human beings have errors. Maybe the only thing we can do is to continue encouraging people that when you're a leader, this is how you should be. But now Trump at 78 is an old dog. You cannot teach him new tricks. But even in his errors, Americans like him, especially the white majority. And he's right, because that is his home. He does not have any other. My brother, Muyanja, he can come back to Uganda. Another brother can go back to whichever, but that is their home. So they have a right to govern their home the way it suits them. If the Americans have chosen him, that means he represents the greatest good. For that reason, therefore, he has the moral authority in his weaknesses to manage his country. I thank you.
Bob.
All right. I think we have had so many discussions here before about this issue of, for example, democracy, the irony of numbers, okay, and whether a big majority can even choose the right thing. Simanyi Isaiah ndoza okitegeera bulungi, we've discussed this before.
Yes.
Yeah. So if majority of people here, maybe 51%, bamutaddemu obwesige, it doesn't mean that they made the right choice for the rest of the people. Okay. This is a global village, as someone has stated it. The right thing is always the right thing. Bw'oyita mu luguudo oluggwa ne likufumita, togamba nti nange kandirekewo n'omulala ajja naye limufumita aliwulire. You know, mutabani waayinza okujja, mukyala waayinza okujja ate n'alirinnyako. It is in everyone's best interest that every leader we have globally ayinamu kye tuyita obuntu, the general way things should be done. So we should have a model. If a leader is even doing well economically for his country, naye ng'ate ayina ebikolobero byakola, you know, you people natandikireko nti obwavu kintu kibi. I'm telling you, abantu abasinga, omwami ono yafunye akalulu, that slight edge ke yafunye overgood, kubanga economy ebadde mbi. People tebalina sente mu nsawo balowooza nti agenda gizza waggulu. That is all. They agree that the guy he gropes women, he rapes them. He has cases where, as I said, he's been convicted and he's just waiting to be sentenced to prison of Emeka. Everyone knows that, but they look beyond that and say we need to have more money in our pockets. But is that the right thing? Tuloyinza okugamba nti omugagga anti mu Buganda bagamba nti akusinza akubya akujjako omuggobo n'agukukubya, something like that. The issue is today you may, where you are, oyinza okuwulira ng'olive a little comfortable n'ogamba let me tolerate this person, naye ate n'agenda akola ekintu ekibi ku mwana wo. Okay? Simanyi oba muntegeera what I'm trying to come up with. That, today I'm giving an example. Museveni n'ogamba nti byatuntuza opposition dictatorship ye gy'akola kibi we can tolerate it, tebinkwatako. Mutabani wajja agenda mu kibuga ali mu motoka ali ku bibye tabiri nako. We remember those riots, people who were shot dead by stray bullets. Okay? But but action ya dictator okulaga nti ayagala kwetekera mu buyinza, the stray bullet nekuba mutabani wo n'emutta ng'oli eri ogamba tebinkwatako. So anything, we need to look at these things in the morality should always take precedence. Tewali muntu ali perfect. We all know Clinton yali good leader. Tumanyi story ya Lewinsky. Ya Lewinsky. And because of that, even for him to come out and lie in national television, he had to lose. I mean, we all know what happened. Now there has been a very big shift from these people looking at the morality. And quite a convict felony, be our president because of poverty. So let us look at this policy. So let us look at this thing the way it's. I don't care what you believe in. I know you want peace in Israel. Everyone wants peace everywhere. Trump okubeera nti mwe balonze obukulembeze kiina ekyokulabirako ate kye kiteeka mu baana abalala abakula. They will grow up thinking they can get away with anything. They grow up thinking,
ndowooza tukkaanye nti awali obulumi empisa tuzireke.
Awali obulumi
awali obulumi empisa tuzireke kubanga Abamerika mubadde mu bulumi ng'obwavu bubaluma, muli mu bulumi ne mugaba waayi omukwasi w'abakazi n'omuyaayi bw'aba asobola otujja mu bulumi olwo leka tumuwe.
Nedda kakati it is nakigamba ekyo kyonna kyonna kiri ku understanding endala aspect. Actually, most of the elites betuyita aba elites be bawadde Harris kubanga they look at things differently, they analyze things.
So balina bulumi bali bulungi, they have the time to analyze, bali bulungi, they have the comfort to analyze.
Yes, naye n'oli atakoze analysis singa atunuulira n'alaba nti bano abantu economy gye baafuna yali due to the industries shutting down by COVID and they are trying to revamp. Maybe they would think that even another leader can come and actually change things. But anyway, let's the ability omuntu okuteeka mu office alina presidents gy'asetting an example gy'awa abantu abalala nti even when you overlook that kati abantu they can say, they will say we can rape and get away with it as long as we have influence. They can do anything. Before you know it, omuntu wewe nyini atali ali caught in the act of that. Atenga otandika kaba twahwa. So for me, that is my comment on that.
Comment yeyo nkulu nnyo lwa nsonga nti Museveni okubeera mu buyinza emyaka 37 kati ya inspiring aba MP abamu okubeera mu parliament kakati emyaka 2. And some of those are opposition MPs. Bali mu parliament emyaka 2 mu emeka bakyayagala na kudda. So really ndowooza nti omukulembeze kyakulabirako kinene. Oyinti yongitegeera. Zoom user. Who is this Zoom user? Okay, fine. Now, any other person who has something to say? We have 5 minutes. We only have 5 minutes.
Chair.
Yes, sir.
Mbadde njagala kugamba muganda wange Muyanja nti we tuba twogera ebintu bino ekigambo kya global village tukiggyemu. Because
abakulu bakitugamba nti weekiri tekiriiwo.
Is a hoax. Tekiriiwo.
Batulimba.
Is a hoax. In fact, this very debate yali ku University College London. Omusajja professor from Sri Lanka n'abuuza abasajja bano nti banaye tuli wano twogera ku global village But global village benefiting ani.
Erirudawa.
Mumanyi ng'omuntu okuyingira buyingire mu UK okufuna visa is a war. And you talk about global village. What do you mean? So global village is a hoax. So muyanja tukatwogere ku level ndala naye mbu kubanga bya global village ani wanasobola okulinnya ennyonyi nti kati ngenda mu America. Kati oba oyagala visa mu America you have to prepare 6 months ahead. Naye eri bw'ayagala okujja enkya asala ticket n'ayingira n'afuna visa wano Entebbe oba there is even e-visa naye ffe
tekikyasoboka ekyo.
Zoom users yani sebo gwani sebo who are you?
Yenze munnakyalo.
Neba n'akasajja kano leka nkamuting wama mugende mu maaso temukakkiriza kwogera mugende mu maaso. Ladies and gentlemen, Munachalo is our regular member here, so please continue Nicholas.
It was Muyanja who had come in.
No, it was Elias. Elias is our regular member here. You remember the Munachalo?
Oh, Munachalo.
Swaba musiramu wa wana atasara nnyo atagenda nnyo muziki tabeera anoonya ssente. Genda mu maaso ssebo.
So global village tetusobola ku reasoningira ku global village nti kubanga we a global village ekikwata egundi tukikwateko n'ekikwata egundi tukikwateko nedda aba abantu global village simply means nti bo baagala okuba free okujja mu Africa batulu ebagala bagulu ebagala naye gwe tulina okwekeeneenyaako kulanga olabika
wegamba yefe village bo si village
kano kiraba nzi kyova ngamba nti bannange njagala nnyo Africa eddemu amagezi bali abantu tebatulaba mu magezi balabanga otuli awo tuli criminals nnyo bw'ogenda mu airport zaabwe oyo gundi mwenyina ayinza okubulira simanyi nnyonyi ki gye yalinnya naye kati kalumemuzeko Brussels balina abanaafrika muyita wano abalina European passport wano abagenda simanyi wano mmwe ne balyoka babakakanula balinga bacho
But I think
sebo Munakyalo
omukulu
mbadde dakiika 3 emu ya Munakyalo endala ya Musaazi endala ya Bob sebo Munakyalo genda mu maaso dakiika emu
mbadde njagala leero sibadde wakwogera naye omukulu oyo waliwo byayogeranga si bituufu omanyi nze njagala nnyo ebituufu erudda n'erudda newankubadde
ayogedde ekisebo ekitali kituufu
ekitali kituufu ekya layini okubeera nga batusosola I think it is priority naawe bw'oba okomyewo Entebbe waliwo Citizen East Africa n'ebiki so ndowooza ekyo tekiriiko kusosola tekiriiko just erudda n'erudda buli wamu
oyinza okubeera mutuufu naye nze kyembadde njogerako
si mutuufu tomuzaamu maanyi si mutuufu wamagenda mu maaso Nicholas
mbadde
kabi nnyo
kyembadde ngamba si kyekyalayina okusosola ekyengeri kye bakucheckinga the level in which they check you olinga criminal
but we have committed crimes there nammwe tuva eno ne tugenda eri ne tubabba abantu basiiba bababba wano
banaye Bob ne Musaazi bambi mwogere ekigambo kimu tuwunzike nze njala nnyo okwata obudde mutuuka leeti tuwunzise kati
nze kyeŋŋamba nti I mean issue I'm still emphasizing the global village thing. It is a global village. I mean I agree with
nga temutukkiriza kujja wammwe nga bwe twagadde mujje waffe
muli babbi
wabeerawo ensonga otherwise temwandikiriza muntu n'omu kujja
tuli baavu tuwunya n'okuwunya
oli ajja agenda n'afuna bbaga n'agiryanga atagira mutuswaza
Musaazi jangu omuzike
one question Nicholas is right. Africa has to
focus on itself.
Exactly. Yes. Question, Nicholas, are you the gentleman who used to come to the office of the People newspaper at Uganda House? See, you sound like someone I know.
So that is, please get his contact. No, Nicholas, please contact Musaz if you don't have his number. Channel through Brenda. now before you turn this meeting into a knowing each other session. Good.
Ennukuta
May God bless you. We love you so much. This is it.
kambuze ku Brenda nga mukyawulira. Brenda wange oli
Ate
otya?
tuganye Musazi ne Nicholas. Please contact her inbox. Thank you very much. Brenda Bambi connecting a Nicholas wamu ne Musazi boogere. Mukama abawo mukisa.
Naye aconnecting gyendi.
Moderator waffe waali yakomyewo naye bali mu cabinet meeting tennaba kuggwa bw'anaaba bweneebewedde bajja kujja. Thank you very much. Kati muve mu meeting.
Ne munsi y'ensolo ekisolo ekisajja kyekikootinga so ekikazi owulidde?
Next Monday we tuli wano, please keep time.
Naye nankya.
Musule bulungi.
Mbu Zoom user.